Do you like watching awful movies? Well, neither do we. But sometimes a movie comes out that's so bad that we need to talk about it. Join Chris and Rob as they work their way through blockbusters that failed to deliver, or in some cases delivered nothing but poo-poo all up on our TV screens. Conversely, sometimes these films give us perspective. If Battlefield Earth could actually get funding, then that's all the more reason to believe in yourself. If Catwoman is allowed to exist, then maybe your ideas actually aren't so stupid after all. Join us on our journey to sit back, snack on some popcorn, and help us find the worst movie ever made.
Hello and welcome to Season 4 of the Worst Movie Ever Made. This is an experimental movie podcast designed with one thing in mind: to find the worst movie ever made. I'm your host, Chris Ackman. I'm joined by my co-host and fellow mad scientist, Rob Scucci. Hey, Rob, how are you? And why are we doing this?
Well, for our listeners, and maybe some of you are new at this point, I always try having an anecdote about my life or something, and I try tying it into what we're talking about. So here's my little quick story that I'm going to go into. I live in Tennessee. We got 5 inches of snow. That shuts the whole city down because you don't really have plows because you don't get a lot of snow.
Oh, yeah.
In my apartment complex, it's private property, no plows at all. I was going to the dumpster with my daughter, and a pickup truck was stuck on the hill, near my apartment. So,
right.
I had her stand off to the side, and I helped the guy push his pickup truck up. To impress my daughter. She'll be like, "Yeah, I'm like a superhero, right?" I threw my back out, but you should know when you get a back injury, it's never the incident itself that throws your back out. It's the thing that happens next that throws it out.
Yes.
So for me, that was sweeping my kitchen floor the next day where I doubled over and just dropped like a sack of potatoes.
No.
And it got me thinking, what kind of sorcery is responsible for this? And that's suiting because this week we are talking about The Sorcerer's Apprentice with Nicolas Cage.
That we are. And I'm very excited to get into it. It is, I don't know, is it the worst movie ever made? It's certainly going to be the number 1 seed, at least until next week.
Yeah.
We can say that. It's not good.
It's one of those movies where I think you're going to have a lot of problems with it. And I'm going to reply with, "Oh, come on. It was fun."
All right, bring it on. Let's do it. Well, I'm going to start the sort of tone of the whole podcast with some bad reviews.
All right.
So
good.
These are critics from 2010 that agree with me anyway. Kirk Honeycutt of The Hollywood Reporter said, "Apprentice lurches from one been there, done that sequence to another." Yeah. Which I wrote into my outline and obviously gave him credit because that I think is the biggest problem with this movie. It is one cliche to another. And it basically just takes all the tension out of the movie for me.
Yeah, I can see. It's like Christmas with the Cranks. It's like one disjointed skit after another.
Yeah. So you don't actually give a shit, which is not good.
Yeah.
I have another one, and then we're going to do some YouTube comments. Sure. Justin Chang of Variety says, "The magic here feels machine-made and depressingly state-of-the-art."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, dude, normally we really make fun of a movie for how bad its graphics are because that's part of what makes a bad movie. But in this case, I don't think we're really going to be able to do that. I had a couple things that bothered me, maybe you too, and we'll talk about it when we get there. But the graphics are really good in this movie. I hated that they were so good.
It's Disney, right?
Yeah, it's Disney.
That's why. Yeah, that's the only way you can get the rights to Fantasia, I guess. So.
Yeah, exactly. And they reference it a lot. It's like self-product placement, basically.
Yeah.
It's kind of gross. But anyway, you got some YouTube comments?
Yeah, this is the first one from Miss MSMISS, so Miss X. This is such a great film. I don't get it why so many takes no interest in it at all.
Well said, Miss.
And then I'll end with Makala 1998. This is 3 months ago, by the way.
Wow.
This is a high quality B movie. It's not Oscar material, but I just so love it. It's a perfect second class movie and doesn't get enough recognition. Heart emoji.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Really close it out with the heart emoji. Yeah. So we know you mean it. All right. Well, I disagree. We'll do some tests and see how it scores, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, Rob, let's do test number 1, which we are now naming the worst of its kind. We're taking a critical average from Rotten Tomatoes for 5 movies now, because I feel like 7's a little too much. But 5 and 7, both prime numbers, right? So, yeah, what's the difference? Anyway, we're going to compare the Rotten Tomatoes critic score of Apprentice to that average. In test number 1, the worst of its kind.
Is this film the best of the worst or the worst of its kind?
All right. Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief with Logan Lerman. I don't know what else he's in.
I never even fucking heard of that.
I heard of Percy Jackson. I didn't know it was a whole film franchise. 49%.
Okay.
The Spiderwick Chronicles. Another one that's not super well known. Freddie Highmore actually got an 81.
Okay.
The Golden Compass with Nicole Kidman. A 42. Okay, so that's pretty low score, which is now kind of important. Zathura, a space adventure with Dax Shepard was the most notable actor in that one. A 76. Surprise, that's pretty good. And Oz the Great and Powerful with Mila Kunis and James Franco got a 57. Right. So the average is a 61. How do you think Apprentice did?
People seem to like it. Like 32?
A 40.
All right. Wow. Okay.
But it's still a negative 21. So that's our first score. But also, I decided to see if the movie is actually the worst out of all of them. So not only is it worse than the average by a lot, but it is worse than the Golden Compass at a 42%. So it not only is it a negative 2, but it's also the worst of its kind.
Okay.
All right. So moving on to test number 2. This is just called the plot pitch now. So what we're going to do is Rob is going to take the position of a major producer because, I mean, he's producing this show. Yeah. So I'm going to get his opinion on whether or not my pitch is something that he would make. And then he's going to give it a star grade. And that's what we're going to use to compare it to the next movie that comes up. So let's do test number 2, the plot pitch.
Hey, oh God, hey, man. Hey, what? You want to hear my movie idea? No.
So like perfectly appropriate. Okay. When you're ready, Rob, you want to count me down?
Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Pitch it.
Disney wants to make its own Harry Potter franchise so badly that they're willing to throw $150 million and Nicolas Cage at it. Special effects should be enough to help this story along here. So here it goes. So Merlin, yes, Merlin has apprentices, 3 of them, a pretty lady, Nicolas Cage, and Dr. Octopus. Problem is, the Doc and Cage are both in love with Pretty Lady, so Octopus betrays Merlin to his death because he wants revenge or something. So he teams up with the evil Morgana, who wants to raise an army of the dead, blah, blah. The movie really gets going 1,000 years later when Cage finds a kid who has Merlin blood and can control a dragon ring and help to destroy Morgana. So he has to teach the kid how to do magic really quick before Dr. Octopus successfully helps Morgana raise an army of the dead or some shit. But look at the budget, right? State-of-the-art graphics, Mr. Producer. State-of-the-art. I mean, thumbs up, right? High five. Cool. Yeah. All right.
Okay, so you said 150 mil.
Yeah.
I could go to a skate park on like a Tuesday afternoon, find like 5 15-year-olds, give them a bag of mushrooms and $150, and they could act this out for me.
Right. True.
So I would not make this movie.
Okay, so you would not make it.
No.
Give me a star grade on the pitch though before you send me away, Mr. Producer.
I'll give it a light 2.
Light 2. I will write in the light part. A light 2. Okay. Cool. All right. So we've got our score. It seems that you didn't love it, but who knows? Maybe it'll be much better than every other plot pitch this season. We'll see.
Yeah.
Test number 3 is now called the worst dialogue, because that's what it is. We're going to give you the top 10 worst lines or segments of dialogue in the movie in reverse order. So I'm going to give you the 10th worst. We're going to end with the first worst. If that makes sense to you, we're going to just go ahead and do test number 3, the worst dialogue.
The worst movie ever made presents the worst dialogue ever made.
The time great on this. I'm really digging them. Okay, so this is a little collection, number 10. The number 10 worst segment of dialogue is really a collection. You remember how I did, what was his name? Shit, gamers are going to get on me for this one. The Russian guy from Street Fighter. Why is it not coming to me? I should have thought about this earlier.
Tyson.
No, the guy who's like, turn off or change the channel when the truck is coming at the tent.
Yeah.
God, what is his name? All right, blast me in the comments or whatever.
Henchman number 1.
I swear to God, I'll come up with it before the pod ends. But anyway, like I did a collection there, I'm doing a collection for number 10. This is just, when you're tossing around ideas for writing something in your head, and you have to create fictional characters and stuff, and then you say something really stupid, and you're like, "Wow, that would never fly."
Yeah, like when you shudder it out of your own existence, you're like, "Oh God, why would I think that?" And then you just kind of move on. Yeah,
I feel like they had a fair amount of that in this movie that they just left.
They just went through the doubt and went for it anyways.
Yeah, they just went through the crippling cringe. So as number 10, I'm going with the Prime Merlinian, which I think is supposed to sound like the Prime Meridian.
Yeah, but Merlin. It's like a Merlin pun and
right. So it's like
a double
but
thing.
That's really bad. It's just awful.
Yeah.
The spell is called The Rising, which is about as, on the head as you could make it, right?
Yeah.
I think the evil Morgana is also 2 on the head.
Yeah.
Horvath just sounds terrible to me.
Sounds like a vacuum cleaner.
Yeah. And then a couple more. The Persian quick rug.
Yeah.
And the Hungarian mirror trap.
Yeah.
I mean, why is it like a bunch of Hungarians came up with the idea together? Or was the guy Hungarian? Because why isn't it a Hungarian man's last name?
You think it's like a Chinese finger trap, like the finger trap, and it was made in China? It was
right, exactly.
And the mirror trap was made in Hungary. They patented it there, or they
that
spell. They developed the spell there, or something like that.
That would have made more sense. Sure, we need a little bit of background information.
Yeah.
Number 9 is our first clip of the episode.
Okay,
we're calling this one Pig Physics.
Oh, I have a life. You're the last person Horvath saw with the Grimhold. That puts you on his list. So unless you want him to turn you into a pig who just loves physics, then you better help me find that doll before he does.
This is crazy.
I mean, that's lazy, right? The pig who loves physics.
Yeah.
It's not a line that sounds very threatening, but also his face when he says loves and he holds it out is like Nick Cage gold to me.
Have you seen the history of swear words on Netflix?
No, I meant to watch that and then completely forgot it existed. He's the host, right?
Yeah, so he's the host, and he's talking about the whole censorship thing with the PMRC in the 80s with Tipper Gore, and he talks about how Dee Snider, from the band Twisted Sister, comes in and actually saves the day. But he goes, Dee Snider from Twisted Sister. He just says it completely straight face, but he's shaking his glass while he says it. And
oh my God,
with his vibrato, and that's what it reminded me of.
Are there more of those moments? Because I might have to watch.
The whole series sucks, but he does a great job as the host.
Okay, all right, I might check it out anyway because I have a passion for Nick Cage, even though I like to make fun of him a lot. Mm-hmm. All right, number 8 is not a clip. We're not doing a clip again until number 5, just to give you the heads up there, Rob. But number 8 is Balthazar talking to Dave, right? And it's not so much. I mean, Balthazar's line here is cheesy. Don't get me wrong, but Dave's response is bad. So Balthazar says, "I am Balthazar Blake, sorcerer of the 777th degree, and you are my apprentice." And Dave responds, "Sweet."
Yeah. It's like a Burger King commercial.
Yeah, pretty much. Number 7, Dave, right? He's complaining to Balthazar that he's about to have a date in the lab, and it's messy. Dave says, "Becky's coming in 10 minutes, and I'm standing in a puddle of pop." Number 6, Dave, he's talking to Drake Stone in the bathroom. He says, "I don't know who you are, actually." And Drake Stone says, "You really don't recognize me." Dave says, "Are you in Depeche Mode?"
It would have been funnier if he said Flock of Seagulls.
Yeah, definitely. That would have been, agreed. All right, let's do clip number 2.
Okay.
This one's called No Connection.
All right.
Veronica, would you please step back? If Morgana can stop his heart, maybe I can start it. All right, here we go, bud. Here we go. Listen, you, with all your stupid rules and all those old man shoes, you're constantly saving me with that look in your eyes. Come on! Come on!
He's so weirdly confident in This Is the End.
Yeah. You mean the movie?
Yeah, but in this, he's not. He's just like this.
Yeah, I actually thought and we're going to get into this in our very next test.
All right.
I almost put this in the what would have been a motometer, which is now you'll see, because he's bad in this movie.
Yeah.
Jay Baruchel is bad, and I don't have enough of a history with him to know whether or not that's him in a nutshell.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell with the like Seth Rogan comedies and stuff because those are funny lines. You know, generally he delivers funny lines, so I don't know if he's a good actor because what he said is funny, and I'm not worried about his delivery.
Yeah, and in those movies, they're kind of playing themselves too. Whereas in this one,
that's true.
He's clearly trying to do a character, and it's not good.
No, it's not. And we entitled this one "No Connection" because that's exactly it. I mean, the old man shoe thing is like definitely shoehorned in, not to go for a pun, but they really obviously made these little like marks, like bookmarks throughout the movie so that they can reference it, because the whole idea was to have Dave in this case and Balthazar have this like contentious but loving relationship. Yeah. Which is a trope, which I'll get into. But they made it, I don't know how it happened because it's not like it's a super short movie, right? I mean, it's like almost 2 hours. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, why was it that they couldn't develop any kind of character between them? And it's because it's cliche to cliche. So, they shoehorned in all this. I'm going to get on to the next one, I swear. But as a result, at the end, there was absolutely no emotional connection between them. And that's a problem because when you want to come up with dialogue to bolster that connection between the two of them, and you don't have it, you end up with your old man shoes and you're always looking at me like a jerk. And like, it just sounds like shit because it is shit.
They probably front loaded the budget. So they got all the special effects scenes out of the way first. And they probably shot the stuff before they had enough time on the set together to actually have any chemistry.
Yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair. And maybe they just didn't. I don't know. But Nick Cage seems like a cool guy. Yeah. My suspicion is that Jay really sucks, and so do the writers of this movie.
No, I'm going to have to agree with you on that very healthily.
Cool. All right. Number 4 is Bennett. You remember the guy who's barely in the movie? He's in the beginning. Yeah. He's like the best friend, and you think he's going to be like a part of the movie. Mm-hmm. He gives the whole gray wolf pack speech where he's saying if you don't participate, you're going to be like lonely and die off or whatever. Well, later in the movie, Dave and Becky are together and like doing some weird magical shit, right? And he calls Bennett in to help. And Bennett says to Dave, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you have going on here, Dave, but you're definitely participating. And it's another one of those like totally forced lines. And I hate it. It seemed like they were like, oh yeah, we needed to get like, I don't know. It's almost in poor taste because to me, it felt like they were like, we need to get our diversity back in the movie. So let's bring Bennett back in and give him a line. And it just like, what can we have him say? We'll have him reference anyway. I'm sorry, I'm being rather verbose. I'm supposed to be moving us along. So number 3. Well, do you agree that was terrible?
Yeah, so they planted a bunch of seeds throughout the movie, and they picked up whatever ones they felt like at whatever point, with no regard for rhythm or dynamic or character development or like just typical filmic time or carrying the narrative along or any good reason.
You mean all the things that make a good movie?
Yes.
Okay. Number 3 is Becky. They're on the top of a building. Becky says to Dave, "You're all right." And Dave says, like, all right, or like, all right.
Yeah.
You want to just move on?
Yeah, let's just go ahead. Move on from that.
Okay. All right. Number 2. And then we have a clip for number 1. Number 2. And this bugged me. Becky and Dave in the class. They're talking about the incident that happened to Dave as a child. Becky says, yes, yeah, that was weird. Dave says, you know what? It turns out it was a glucose imbalance. Hallucinations, not uncommon in young subjects. And then Becky says, right. And then Dave says, it's a great anecdote.
Yeah, like to himself.
Pretty much, like under his breath.
It's stupid.
It's like more bad science that they didn't, like, they're just assuming, I guess, that they're talking to kids. So they don't care. But for me, having watched it, wanting to root for it, I didn't really want to root for it. No. But it just, more terrible dialogue.
It shows him like how it does show how his character internalizes everything.
Yeah, that's
in
true.
A negative
All
way.
right.
So I guess it's necessary, but they just didn't deliver.
It's bad. Yeah, it's bad writing in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
All right, let's do the number 1 worst line of dialogue. In this case is a clip. So let's do it. The number 1 worst line of dialogue.
You've heard how people use only 10% of their brains? Sorcerers can manipulate matter because they're born with the capability to use the entire power of their brains, which also explains why molecular physics comes so easily to you.
So wait, is sorcery science or magic?
Yes and yes. For now, all you need is a basic combat spell, making fire. What causes molecules to heat up?
They vibrate?
Everything we see is in a constant state of vibration, thus the illusion of solidity. But how do we take that which appears solid and have it burst into flames? We will the vibrations to go faster. Step 1, clear your mind. Step 2, see the molecules. Step 3, make them shake.
Oh.
Got it?
No, I definitely don't got it.
Trust the ring, Dave. And keep it subtle. Civilians mustn't know magic exists. That would be complicated.
Says the guy in the 350-year-old rawhide trench coat.
Okay, there's just so much there that I hate. So much.
You famously don't like the junk science.
I fucking hate junk science, especially when it's like right there in your face bad. There's more of it in the movie that I'm going to make fun of in future tests. But to start, he does the old 10% of the brain thing. Lazy. Then he says, clear your mind. Done. Many times before.
Yeah.
Then he says, see the molecules.
That's
how do you do that?
Yeah.
How do you do that? And then you make them shake. So actually, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, listening audience, I'm not a physics major like Dave Stetler, but if you make them shake, it doesn't make them catch on fire. That makes it just a little more solid. Because
I think so.
Yeah, because atoms are moving more slowly if they're liquid, and more quickly they vibrate more quickly if they're a solid. I think I might have said solid already, but slow if they're liquid, vibrate fast if they're a solid. That's my understanding. Maybe I'm wrong. So that's wrong too. And then they top it off with the civilians don't need to know about magic. That would complicate things. And then Dave shoots back. Says the guy with the 350-year-old rawhide jacket or whatever. It's just like not funny.
And it's not even a giveaway. They live in the city. Like hipsters and fucking weirdos wear that shit.
It's true. I think Nick Cage might wear that shit like normally anyway.
I've seen pictures of him wearing that shit on at sidewalk cafes with what's his name? Vince Neil from Motley Crue.
Oh my God. Gross. All right. Hey, that was the number 1 worst line of dialogue. We're going to get into a clip heavy segment, and that might be true for future pods as well. But it's because I'm not the best at impressions. So I like to let the actors do the work so I don't have to. In test number 4, we're just going to do the worst acting.
Test number 4. The worst acting. Naturally, we'd use the Catwoman theme for this one. Yeah. Fuck Catwoman. Moving on.
All right, dude. Just to start us off, something I hate personally. I want to get your reaction to this.
Okay.
Number one, groups of kids made to do unending laughter.
Yeah, no, I fuck that. And like that whole scene pissed me off. I don't want to get too deep into it because like when you're in fourth grade, your classmate who like seemed middle of the row, he didn't seem like he was a bullied kid or a popular kid. Like he seemed like kind of like pretty healthily, like he seemed stable in where his social standing was.
Yeah.
Was clearly traumatized by something. Like you don't just laugh at somebody when they bust out of like a weird, creepy shop.
Yeah.
Whether he spilled something or peed himself, like.
Or there was a creepy man in there taking advantage of him or something, you know?
Yeah, like.
Don't know.
That's where you call like 911 and then like no one talks about it again.
Yeah, exactly. Kid goes away for 2 years, comes back a changed person.
Yeah.
And it's settled.
Exactly.
But yeah, the point is all the kids laughing. I feel like kid actors are bad. So when you're like, okay, we're going to transition out of the scene, you're just going to keep laughing. So whole group just go again and keep laughing. It never sounds real.
Yeah, and laughing is one of the hardest things to fake. Like, you ever go to a bar or a restaurant and you hear like that one person like, like laughing like super loud at like every single thing the other person's saying like the entire time you're there. And, like,
yeah, for sure.
Really, or he's not. I say she first because like it's normally some chick cackling, but like nothing's that funny.
No, nothing's ever that funny.
Yeah.
I agree, except for us.
Yes.
Number two, Dave. So this is bad acting, right? This is right after the thing that we just highlighted in number two, the second worst clip in our dialogue section, right? So after, it's right before he's explaining to Becky who he is because he wants her to recognize him, but she still doesn't, right? So Dave says, "You're Becky Barnes, right?" And she like just stares at him, and he goes, "Dave." Which is, I get what they're going for. They want,
it's a supermarket run-in where you run into somebody from high school you hadn't seen in like 15 years. And you're like, oh, it's you. You kind of recognize them, but like you're not sure if it's the same person you're thinking of.
Right. So he like did what her reaction should have been. Yeah. Which would have been funny if it was executed well. But I maintain he's a bad actor.
Yes.
Or at least in this movie. And we're going to prove it because clip number 4 is our number 3 of the worst acting section. Let's let it play. It's called Sour Taste.
Oh, this is not happening. This is not happening. I taste sour in my mouth.
Take it easy, Dave. Deep breaths.
What? Now that is not happening.
What's wrong? What is it?
No, you are not doing this to me again. Do you have any idea what my life has been like for the last 10 years?
I've been stuck in an urn for the last 10 years.
So have I. A figurative urn of ridicule. Do you know that in certain parts of the tri-state area, they still refer to having a nervous breakdown as pulling a David Stutler? Did you know that?
Try to be a good listener,
To my
Dave.
previous point, no one would know about a kid peeing himself in front of a magic shop in the tri-state area. Like,
right.
To be isolated to that block alone.
Yes, that's true. But also, he's just bad there, I think.
Yeah.
He's going to that, like, nervous energy, and I think he wants to look adorable. You know, that's what he's going to. That's what his character's supposed to be. But it doesn't land, at least for me.
Yeah. If it was a young Andy Dick, it'd be funny.
Yeah, I know. You are more of an Andy Dick guy than me.
Yes,
although
yes,
the clip of what's his face, the clown,
Peebop the clown, the grief counselor.
Yeah. All right, if you haven't seen that, check it out. It's actually pretty funny. I'll give you that. Number 4 is Dave. Okay, this is right after he destroys the dragon with his fire spell from the ring.
Okay.
He goes, "Wah! Go team magic stuff! Wah! Did you see that? Did you see what I did? I did it." And then you see Horvath looking on from, like, you know, the 3rd floor of the apartment building or whatever. And Dave is making a fist in the air with the ring at Cage. And he's like over exclaiming so that you know exactly what he's saying. And all of that is just putrid. Just fucking terrible.
The whole Chinatown scene just fucking sucked.
Yes,
that was that scene, right?
Yeah. And I mean, other than graphics, I agree. Like they do the whole. I don't think we mentioned it, so I'll just throw it out there. When they are cops and Cage is doing the like New York accent, and then Dave like calls him out for sake not being Chinese. It's not funny. It's just wet farts, all over the screen in this movie. All right, 2 more clips. Number 5, and this might be, I don't know, you, the listener, decide for yourself which one of these 2 is worst. Because I really don't know what is the worst acting. But the point of this category now is to compare it to future movies, since this is the first. So let's let clip number 5 play, and this one's called Having Issues.
Becky.
Hi.
Hi, you're on time.
You forgot, huh?
Oh, no, I didn't. Forget.
Is everything okay?
What, me? How are you doing?
I'm good.
Would you please stop that? Will you? Probably best for you to leave. Mike, what am I saying?
Okay, I will go.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm having issues.
Okay, so all the noise making that he's doing is supposed to sound like he has a broom or a mop or something, like pushing up against his ass. And
they're implying Fantasia sodomy.
yeah, they are. All right, so that was terrible, like truly awful. And then we have, I'm sorry, Jay Baruchel. Don't scream at me if you happen to hear this episode, but we're going to clip number 6. Dave, once again, in Underwhelmed.
No. It's not over. He can't die. Not now. Come on.
Oh, Willikers.
Yeah, he is, he's just bad.
Yeah.
I have nothing more to add. But just to give you context, right? Overall, in your opinion, and I mean every actor in this movie considered, would you say that the acting is worse than Super Mario Bros. From last season?
No.
Agree.
Because I think in Super Mario, it's a weird fucking movie. It takes place. It has nothing to do with the game. It's a bad movie, but like the characters want to be there. They want to. That's my measuring stick for most things. Is like, do they want to be there, or is this just like because this movie, like Dave's on the adventure of a lifetime, and he doesn't want to be there.
Yes, agreed. No, I agree. Also, and so you're saying, just to make it official, that the acting in Super Mario Bros. Is worse.
I think it's better in Super Mario Bros.
Oh, okay, all right. Because
they want to be there. Everybody is like on the adventure of a lifetime in Mario Bros.
Okay.
Whereas in this movie, they're like Nicolas Cage like had an okay performance for the turd of a script there was, like playing like a jaded magician who's been in a jar for 10 years. But like, everybody else is just kind of like, man.
Good. We rarely disagree. So fuck you. Jay Baruchel and Dennis Hopper are just as bad as one another, right? We'll call them a wash. Bob Haskins is good. Nick Cage is good.
Yeah.
I think the blonde chick's not good. And the blonde chick in this one's not good. Yeah. So let's keep going. Who else can we draw from? Bennett.
Okay.
Fisher Stevens as Iggy.
Okay.
Meh. Spike. We shouldn't be doing this whole exercise. All right. I don't know, dude. I thought that this maybe was better acting wise because Cage did well. And I actually like Alfred Molina. I thought he was pretty good. Yeah. Like the acting, they've got some chops. And I guess I didn't really explore it. I kept thinking of Dennis Hopper in my head and how much I fucking hated him. But Jay Baruchel is just as bad almost anyway. I don't know. So I'm thinking just for context, this movie wins the acting category over Super Mario's, but it doesn't actually matter because we can't compare it to a last season. No. So still fuck you, Rob. And let's move on to your ad read.
Okay, let me just get that ready real quick. This is a really good sponsor. It's something, once our brand grows, we're probably gonna use them. But this is something that you guys could use now if you're in the right position.
Yeah.
Today's episode of The Worst Movie Ever Made is brought to you by Boomers at the Office, the first company to outsource frustration to motivate your staff. Is your startup flourishing but lacking the true office dynamic that you'd like to see? Well, Boomers at the Office will organically enrage anybody under 40 who actually knows what they're doing. They handpick boomers like Jeff or Laura to condescend to your staff while simultaneously slowing down the entire operation with their gross incompetence and negligence. Complete with catchphrases like, whoa, HDMI what? I don't need to be learning tech jargon from a literal child, to, I literally bought my house for a bag of corn and a roll of nickels, but you kids are entitled because you like espresso and regular doctor visits. People at the office will motivate your staff to work themselves nearly to death because not only will they want to prove our hand-selected boomers wrong, but because they'll also need to figure out how to uninstall the dozens of viruses from the central computer after Candy Crush was installed. Boomers at the Office. If you have a high turnover, then you don't need to give out benefits.
That's so spot on, dude. I bet that actually is like a business model, an unspoken, unwritten business model.
I'm thinking about it. I wrote it as a joke, but I'm thinking, like, if you think about how it actually works, if you hire a quote unquote boomer to like derail the operations and frustrate the younger staff and they quit before they get benefits, then you can make the boomer disappear when the service is fulfilled by saying they retired.
Oh, true. Yeah. They're not too many years off of Gray Dawn.
Yeah. Do like a 2-year contract and then you like go to another county and then do the same shit.
Oh man, that's good. That's really good. I mean, that was hilarious, but also accurate.
Yeah.
All right, look, here's a quick segment I want to do, just to break it up a little bit. I want to do 5 interesting facts about the Sorcerer's Apprentice because our arena burned down and we're still dealing with like insurance stuff. So we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen with that. Anyway, here's some interesting facts about the Sorcerer's Apprentice, if you didn't know. One, that is Nick Cage's Rolls Royce, the like old car.
I could see that.
Yeah, he owns that car. And it's actually not that surprising after you learn fact number 2 that I wrote down here. And that is that Nick Cage really pushed for this film. Like, this film might not have been made if it wasn't for his wanting to be a magical sorcerer in a universe of some kind.
I saw an interview with him where he's like still got the hairdo, like the bleach blonde, like long hair, and he's like talking with that really raspy voice, and he's like, I got on the phone with Bruckheimer, and I really wanted to do this Fantasia type of thing.
Get Bruckheimer on the phone. Number 3, the Twin Towers are missing from the skyline in the year 2000. So that would have fallen under our loopholes, but I wouldn't have caught that. So I thought it was interesting. Threw it in there. Little American history sadness. Mm-hmm. Number 2, I went in reverse order, so it should be number 4, really. Michael plays music when inside his Faraday cage, right?
Yeah.
It's designed to block electrical shock. That's what a Faraday cage does. After, I think it was Michael Faraday, the famous scientist that like invented like 1,000 things. But it would have also blocked any radio signals.
Okay.
So he's playing the radio station from Becky, and he wouldn't have been able to do that unless there are certain procedures he could have gone through, but it was, it's an additional headache that he clearly didn't do in the movie. So he should not be able to hear the radio station.
Okay.
And lastly, Abigail Williams, the 12-year-old that Horvath summons from the Grimhold. Yeah. Was the first person to make a witchcraft accusation leading to the 1692 Salem witch trials. So I thought that was pretty cool. That's actually kind of a cool thing that they did, and didn't force down your throat. Like I said about Raising Arizona, they don't. Yeah, right. Because I was curious, and I read some stuff. We're going to try to give you some interesting facts about the movie just for your entertainment. So there they are. Let's move on to test number 5. In this week, we're calling it, and from now on, the most offensive. So you already know what this is about. I'm going to give you the most offensive moments in the movie, and we're going to compare its offensiveness to movies in the future. Test number 5, the most offensive.
Damn it! I am tired of being Santa Claus. You get your together and you get your ass in a damn car. We're going
All right, let's do it.
That's what it sounds like if you mix that 70s show and Death Grips.
Cool. It's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not going to give you numbers. I'm just going to throw some stuff out. If we feel like we need to delve deeper, we can do that. Because I'm not going to give you everything I noticed. We're just going to sum up how offensive it is by giving you some of the worst moments, right?
Yeah.
So I started this one because this one offended me. Horvath assumes the Asian woman that picked up the Grimhold is from Chinatown.
Yeah.
There is no mention. She doesn't have like a shoe brand from a restaurant even in Chinatown. Yeah. Nothing. She's Asian. She must be from Chinatown. That's offensive. Here's another good one. Becky says to Dave, "Are you stalking me?" And Dave says, "Not in a threatening way."
It's such a weird rom-com thing where you always like from something about Mary to like 51st Dates. It's like you're following a chick home from work and like hiding in her bushes. And you think that's gonna like win everything over.
I mean, what would a stalker say? He would say, "Not in a threatening way."
Yeah.
You know,
like, yeah, if you say I'm totally not a creep, then like that's followed by the creepiest thing you've ever fucking heard.
Yeah, exactly. All right, here's another one for you, Rob. I thought it was offensive that Dave was such a little bitch. He says to Balthazar, "I think you exist solely to make my life a living hell." Really? What did he do to you?
It was his negligence that got him locked in a fucking jar for 10 years.
Yeah,
after he was explicitly told not to touch anything. And like all he did was have one incident where he peed his pants. He could have he seemed like a confident kid before that incident. He could have done a million different things to bounce back.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So like why is he blaming like Balthazar for everything?
I don't know. And I was upset.
And all Balthazar wants to do is give him fucking magic powers.
Yeah, exactly. And he's being super reasonable about it.
Yeah.
All right. So here's another one. Dave says in the beginning to Bennett, who mentions that the cheerleaders coming to his birthday party are from Princeton. Dave says, "So they're smart cheerleaders?"
Yeah.
Come on, man. There's got to be.
Yeah, like the whole like meathead jock thing is like, you could listen to like audiobooks while you're fucking clanging and banging, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's like you don't just because you are good at something physically doesn't mean your brain's fucking mush.
Agreed.
Yeah,
100%. I got two more, unless you want me to go deeper, but I think this will sum up how offensive the movie is. So Dave says to Becky, "Oh, you're afraid of heights, right?"
Yeah.
Grabs her hand and he says, "Come here, you're good." That convinces her that she can look over the side of a building, even though she's deathly afraid of heights.
Yeah.
If I'm Dave, I'm like, "Okay, why don't we head back down to the lobby and grab some tea? We'll grab a bubble tea." Not stare. Let's do exposure therapy right now.
Yeah.
Stare down your worst fear with me. Just that's really shit.
Yeah, like you're 18, your brain's not even done fully developing yet. Let's traumatize you irreparably for the rest of your fucking life.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I'm getting you back for the pee incident.
Yeah.
All right. And lastly, I have some more, but we're trying to move it on. In case I die, can you tell me if you wanted to meet my girlfriend back then? Because this whole time I've been wanting to know. Becky says back, no, essentially.
Yeah.
If you die, you'll die not knowing, you piece of shit. I was offended.
Yeah, you don't leave someone hanging like that. Like if you know the answer to something, don't leave people hanging. Just let them know. Be direct.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. 100%. Okay, so you get a kind of feel for how offensive the movie is. It's really not super important until we have to compare it to how offensive our next movie is. Yeah. So I wrote down a score that I'll share with you later.
Okay.
And we'll move it on to test number 6. Keep this truck moving along. And speaking of moving it along, this is the most cliche test, which means that I'm going to read off to you all of the moments that I noticed and then ask you for mentions at the end, Rob, of cliche, of trope, of things that I've seen before that I'm bored by. what have you. So we're going to have to do a lightning round this week, because if this movie beats any other movie, it's because of how cliche this movie is, right?
Okay.
That's the most egregious thing about the movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's do test number 6. We're going to do it real quick. The most cliche.
All I've got to say is that moving forward, at the end of the day, it is what it is, and we need to know the only constant is change in these unprecedented times. So let's put our best foot forward and our aces in our places, because we're like a family and we're in it to win.
All right.
That captures the tenor of the test so well. Yeah. All right. I'm going to just rip through these. If you disagree, stop me.
All right. Sounds good.
An Army of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
The blown away paper destiny, like Forrest Gump. The paper in the beginning. The you're trapped, closed door moment in the beginning.
Yep.
Playing perfect audio songs when they wouldn't be audio, one wouldn't be audible at all, but wouldn't be perfect even if they were in the room.
And they open with Superstition, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The help me and you can go contract between Balthazar and Dave.
Mm-hmm.
At odds, Master and Apprentice.
Yep.
Crash course sorcery.
Yep.
The Jason stroll from Horvath when Dave is running away and he has the wolves. He just walks after him. 10% of our brains bullshit. How many fucking times have you heard that?
Yep.
Number 10. Horvath's last minute warning to Balthazar before Son Locke shoots a bunch of needles in his back.
Yep.
Why warn him? Number 11. Clear your mind.
Yep.
Number 12. Nobody knows we're down here in my secret lab.
Yep.
Number 13. The Men in Black. No going back.
Yep.
Number 14. The plasma bolt montage.
Yeah.
Number 15, the girlfriend distraction issue.
Yep.
16, you don't need my faculty identification card. This one was so bad that they knew it and they had to spell it out. And it wasn't a Disney property in 2010. Star Wars, that is.
Yeah.
Drake Stone says, these are not the droids you're looking for. Ha ha ha. That's admitting to your cliche.
They did the thing and I was like, that's like Star Wars. And then they make the it's like Star Wars joke.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everybody thought it. And then they spelled it out, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 17, and this is another one that they spelled out for you because they knew you were going to think it when you thought it. The Merlin cleaning spell, like Sword in the Stone, like Fantasia. 18, I'm not your hero. I'm not the prime Merlinian.
Yeah.
Number 19, the love triangle betrayal.
Okay.
Number 20, Dave stopping the knives at last second. Horvath almost had him, but Dave came back. Number 21, the Matrix 0 hour. The last one was the 0 hour. Number 21 is the Matrix Lady in Red Horvath distraction. Makes Veronica out of a woman on the street. Number 22, kidnapping the love interest.
Yep.
And then to piggyback on that, number 23, Balthazar says, immediately follow me, promise you'll do whatever it takes. Immediately following the kidnapping. Number 24, dropping backwards off a balcony. And then Becky's like, oh my God, he's going to die. Balthazar will be fine. We know that. Number 25, and I have a few more. Balthazar's self-sacrifice.
Yeah.
Wasn't that sweet?
Mm-hmm.
Number 26, magic with no ring. Ooh. He's the one.
Yeah.
Right? Like the Matrix. And then my last, I don't know if you caught this, but at the very end, there was an Easter egg, late credit sequence where Horvath lives.
Yep.
Because they wanted to make a sequel that nobody wanted.
Uh-huh.
Do you have anything else that we should mention, or should we move on to the shit point?
Not an extra trope, but there's a very good I don't know which one came out first, but I think Bangkok Dangerous came out around the same time.
Yeah.
During the training, but again.
Okay.
Again.
Yeah.
It's like the exact training montage, but like one was like a knife fight, and one was like a sorcery beam.
Good. Let's double screw them for that, right? We're gonna write down 28.
Right.
All right, cool. Let's do the shit coin. A world famous bit at this point. I'm gonna have to apologize. We have not been getting amazing shitcoins lately. So I tried to develop one for you guys this week. Didn't really go anywhere, but we're going to read it anyway.
All right, let me just go ahead and play. Is that a bumper for you?
Let's do it.
All right, so I'm reading the part of Kristen Elena. Hello, have you heard about making extra money or binary trade options before?
No, never.
All right, cool. Firstly, I'll have to enlighten you on how binary options trade works in beneficial lips. What is your name and where are you from?
I'm Balthazar from England. What's your name and where are you from?
All right, I'm Chris and Elena from Los Angeles, California, a binary expert trade. All right.
I feel I've been looking for someone like you for 1,000 years.
Binary options is an online financial trading market, which can be classified as subsidiary to Forex, foreign exchange market. It's one of the highest paid investment platform in the world. We have experts managing your trading account, so no valid experience needed as we manage your investment capital for you to earn good ROI, return on investment.
Can you help me?
I help individual trade for 100% profit guarantee for 10% charges.
My line of work is a bit more mysterious. I'm a collector and a preserver. I do need to make more money. I have a quest I need to complete. Your help would be appreciated, Marlena. Hello? Darnzo. There goes another opportunity. Stupid Balthazar. All right.
Good stuff.
Yeah, unfortunately, she left at that point. She kind of knew I was messing with her, I think. All right, so cool. We'll move on to test number 7 then, and this is now deemed the worst graphics test. We don't have a sliding scale anymore. There you go, Bob. No more Total Recall. You win. So we're just going to talk about the graphics, and we don't have to spend a whole lot of time this week because the graphics are good. Let's be real. All right, so let's test number 7, the worst graphics.
Welcome to test number 7. The worst graphics.
All right, cool. All right, so I'm going to start by escalating the good stuff, and then we'll talk about a couple things that bothered me.
All right.
The floating sword was cool. Like Horvath is using like a floating sword. That's a cool trick, right?
Yeah.
The cockroach like culmination that made Horvath look cool too. I'm not gonna lie. So I wrote nice. The confetti dragon. The confetti and the dragon, I should say. Yeah, and wow, respectively.
Yeah.
The mirror trap. Sweet. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Both the bathroom and the city one. Both of them look good.
Yeah. Well, we'll get there. Okay. The Incantus, the book that he like keeps unfolding.
Yeah.
Ooh-wee.
That was neat.
You know? Merlin's Circle. Damn. Oh, that's looking pretty good. Driving through the reflection.
Yeah.
Which you just mentioned. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That looked cool. The Persian quick rug, right?
Yeah.
Impressive. I mean, the graphics are fucking good. What wasn't so great, in my opinion?
Okay.
The dragon ring, like when it's crawling around his finger.
Yeah.
Nah. The pot paintings of them alive, like getting stuck to the side of the pot, whatever.
Those looked really, those looked like the art should have been a little more advanced for that, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
That was they couldn't have gotten like a freelance like pottery painter and given them like $200 to like make a better design.
Sure they could have. The fedora on Cage. I'm sorry. It's not even graphics. It's just funny.
I was talking to Stacy about that because we were watching this, and I was just like, "You think you just walk on the set wearing the hat one day, and someone's like, should we mention it?" And he's like, "No, just let it go, man. Just let it go.
Let it go. Let him do it." The Steel Eagle. I wrote Merp.
Yeah. Merp.
Yeah. The cleaning mops. Not great.
No.
And then I've got 2 more. Morgana's Oil and Snake's Arrival. Passe.
Yeah.
And then finally, the bowl, like the metal bowl thing, is actually bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the worst for me. So I wrote down a score. I'll let you know at the end what I wrote. We'll see.
Yeah.
See if you agree. Let's move on to the loopholes. and then we'll do your review. Okay. We'll do back credit names.
Yeah.
We'll review the score for the movie and we'll get out of here.
Cool. And now you mentioned loopholes. I found a great one. If you are subscribing to a streaming service and it's a free trial, you get yourself a Visa gift card and spend all but a couple dollars, and then use that as your credit card. And these things take payments that are all or nothing. So if you only have $2 on your credit card, and they're trying to renew the free trial to a paid subscription, it just cancels automatically for you.
Oh, no kidding.
And that's a loophole I got for you.
That's really nice. I like that. Thank you. I'm going to use that. I'm not kidding.
I'm full of these things.
All right. That is our intro. So let's dive into it. When a man appears to be a collection of 2,000, 20,000, 200,000 cockroaches, what have you, that can collect themselves in front of you at any time, scream for help.
Yeah.
Balthazar has a biometric pressure spell. It displaces atmosphere above the doll. So I did a little research. Biometrics are biological measurements. Biometrics. I know it said biometrics. I read the captions. Biological measurements of physical characteristics that can be used to identify an individual. So we're talking face mapping or fingerprinting. Those are biometrics.
Like most time clocks these days are biometric. You scan your fingertip and it punches you in.
Right. Yeah. So not at all what he's talking about, disturbing the very, very, very local atmosphere above downtown, wherever they are. Barometric pressure, however, is atmospheric pressure that can be used to predict short-term weather. Still can't be manipulated in a small area like a downtown. Stay. So even if they got it right and said barometric pressure spell, it would still be.
It'd work in Biodome, but it doesn't work in Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Of course. Yeah. That's the exception. Horvath's memory charm, where he can use a sentence uttered by someone in the present to see the past, would be way more useful than just using it one time.
Yeah.
I hated that. Like, they needed to come up with some other way for Horvath to figure out where it is.
Yeah.
That is a world beater ability he has.
That's like giving the T-1000 in Terminator 2, like, he only walks through the wall the one time.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly.
He has to go around things the rest of the movie.
Is Dave's colleague in college funding the underground hideaway unsupervised Tesla Coil project? And if so, aren't there a lot of liabilities allowing your college student to do that?
Yeah, have you seen the food in the dining hall at a university? Like they're not going to pay insurance premiums for a fucking secret lab with Tesla coils in it.
No, they are not. Tesla coils cannot create plasma. That is what Dave says he's trying to do with the Tesla coils. They just look cool, essentially, Tesla coils. Apparently, small Tesla coils are sometimes used to detect leaks in a vacuum experiment.
Okay.
So, like, if you need to have, like, just about nothing in a box, you can use a small Tesla coil to somehow indicate that there's a leak in your vacuum.
Yeah.
That's about the only usefulness for pretty much. They're just cool to look at.
Yeah.
Why would you have 39 mops and 412 sponges?
Yeah, it's not like I was trying to figure that out. Is it like the whole city's custodial staff, like old locker room or something?
I have no idea. Yeah, they just like slap it all in a backpack and go to their respectable, like their college or
whatever. They all meet there and get on their bikes and like go to whatever job they have for the day, I guess.
Yeah, but they check their mops in before they leave for the night.
Before the quarterly mop audit.
Yeah, right. Why are teens allowed atop skyscrapers alone in New York at night?
I don't know.
How is it that they are the only people on top of Empire State Building?
Yeah.
What did Dave give up when he entered the Merlin Circle? Because I distinctly remember making a Men in Black comparison, but nothing happens.
Because he's fucking 20. There's nothing. No. Like you've been 20. I've been 20. We literally had nothing going on.
It's true.
Nothing.
So Balthazar and Dave take a card because it's important that muggles or non-magic folk don't know what magic is or that it's real. Yeah. So why do the Morganians, that being Horvath and Drake Stone, give a shit? And, because they plan on killing everyone in like a day or two. Yeah. So why are they flying some gigantic steel eagle or something?
Yeah. It'd make more sense.
Yeah. Wouldn't it? Because then you could just like crush their car with it.
Yeah.
Instead of like using like a dump truck or a garbage truck or whatever they use.
Yeah.
All right. So I've got more lame mumbo jumbo here.
Okay.
Dave says, I think they're using the satellite dishes to redirect and amplify electromagnetic energy. At the end, that's Morgana.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just mumbo jumbo.
It's because they want to remind the viewer that they mentioned that like in the first act.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the only reason it's there.
Yeah. Good thing there are literally no tourists in the area of the last battle.
Yeah.
not a single person commuting on foot from the deli where they just drunkenly bought a American Hero grinder. Yeah. Nobody. Go get Horvath's fucking staff, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You knock him senseless. His staff goes flying. It's got all these powerful rings and shit on it. You don't know if he's dead.
Like, even if you don't know any spells, I think if there were like volatile and like magical rings on the staff, if you just beat him over the head a few times, it'd probably like knock out some sort of like brain dead spell. And if not, you're hitting him in the head and giving him brain damage.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah, exactly. Good. That's what you should. He's evil.
Yeah.
Why does Morgana battle with lame ass plasma bolts?
I don't know.
Remember, people must not know about magic, right?
Yeah.
So Dave and Becky fly a steel eagle from Manhattan to France.
Yeah.
I want to make mention that Dave says he doesn't know how to land it. So they're both going to die.
Yeah. Yeah, even I read something the other day unrelated to this movie, but like even if you fall into a body of water from like 100 feet up, you're breaking like every bone in your fucking body.
Oh yeah, you're done. It's like concrete.
And like you say, so it's like, and like the reply to that, I think it was on a Reddit thread, and someone was like, "I'd rather land on the concrete then, because like if I'm gonna fucking break every bone, I don't want to also have to swim back to shore. I'd rather just be already on the ground."
True. I mean, you probably become part of the ocean.
Yeah.
If you're that broken. All right. The biggest loophole that I found, I had to go all the way back to the beginning for this one, but save it for the end because this like blew my mind when I realized.
Okay.
Dave is operating this college acknowledged Tesla Coil project without any professional supervision because he's so smart and so advanced.
Yeah.
Even Balthazar says that's why, molecular physics comes so easy to you.
Yeah.
He's about to unveil this project for the class.
Yeah.
That's going to help him graduate.
Mm-hmm.
Becky is in the class.
Yeah.
She doesn't know physics.
Mm-hmm.
Dave calls it Physics 101.
Yeah. And like he's 20. So like even if you're super smart, you still have to matriculate and you can only take so many classes at a time. He's a sophomore.
Right. It can't be an elective for his field. Like,
no,
we have to throw that out. Right. So, I mean, that's what he likes to do is physics. He says to Becky when she's like suffering at the radio station or whatever, there's just some point where he's like, this is what I do. I'm like a physics brain kind of person. He's in Physics 101 presenting his underground Tesla coil.
Yeah.
To graduate.
As a sophomore.
What
in an introductory course.
Yeah, it's so wrong. I mean, maybe I'm thinking about this wrong. Maybe I have this wrong. No,
you're right. Because also, so I was a music major before I switched over to lit, an equally unpractical degree. But when you're in the arts, I took a class called Physics for Liberal Arts. It was the most layman's term, like broken down, simplistic. You're dumb, but you need this to graduate physics class that I've ever taken in my life.
Okay, right.
And like that's what she would be in. So they would never have even crossed paths.
There's no chance.
Because he would be, even if he was like going through the program, like he'd still be like a sophomore. She would be in physics for liberal arts, which is mostly full of freshmen because you're trying to get it out of the way so you can study your art. And he would be in like maybe like physics 245, which is like advanced theoretical physics or whatever.
At the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Okay, that was my big loophole. You want to do your movie review?
Yeah, let me pull it up real quick. Okay. You know all the famous duos, Cheech and Chong, Bill and Ted, Laurel and Hardy, Dave and Balthazar. Okay, so maybe this movie doesn't nail all the rhythms of your typical buddy movie. Maybe the dialogue isn't great and the characters are flat. Maybe you believed in magic until they got fucking math involved. Whatever reason you started this movie is irrelevant because what really matters is how it made you feel. In this case, that feeling was mostly that of being insulted. The fact that there was a Russian nesting doll kind of made no sense either. Oh, well.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that is the enthusiasm that I'm going to use to describe this to somebody when they say, should I watch that movie?
Yeah.
That's well captured. Like Horvath in the Grimhold. You captured that very well.
I still love the line when Balthazar walked into the bathroom. He's like, "What are you doing, Dave?"
Yeah. I'm taking a shit, Balthazar. Can you please?
I fucking love it. He just comes in and like there's he was on Nicolas Cage was on like Letterman or Leno. I didn't watch it when I watched the movie recently. I saw this like years ago, and they played that clip as a promo for his interview. And then like after they play it, the crowd's cheering. Cage like he like shoulders nudges the host. He's like, "What are you doing, Dave?" Like he was so proud of that line.
No, man. Come on. You're better than this. All right, let's do back credit names and then we'll talk about what just happened. And we'll get out of here. Cool. So as you know, if you've heard the pod before, I ramp these up. These are bad names from the credit section. Names I wouldn't want to have, or just funny ones, I guess. And they get funnier as we go along. So first one is Nevin Seuss.
Okay.
Interesting. You just don't see a lot of Seusses.
No.
Other than doctor.
Or a phone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. True.
Yeah.
Okay. Rosie Moss. Only interesting because it's like two types of vegetation.
Yeah.
Nate Grubb. Something that might be feasting in that area of Rosie Moss.
Okay.
Rocky Babcock. Not the best.
There's lots of Babcocks in these movies, or like in general, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. Caitlin Content.
Okay.
Garth Brown.
Garth with an F?
Yeah, like Scarf.
Garth.
Garth. Missy Papa George. Henry Yuck.
Okay.
Peter Rotter.
Ew.
Two more.
Okay.
John Coochie.
Nice.
And Oscar A. Colon.
Why do I imagine like Oscar colon a colon?
Nice. All right. So the worst movie of season 4 so far, having been the only movie of season 4 so far, is Sorcerer's Apprentice. Mm-hmm. Get at us if you disagree. If you think one of the other movies of season 4 is worse, hit us up.
Yeah.
So here are the scores to back that up. Negative 21%, right? And worst of its kind. Mm-hmm. 5 other movies.
Yeah.
Sorcerer's was worse than all 5. Plot star grade. You would not make the movie.
Nope.
And you gave it a light 2.
Yeah, light 2.
A light 2. Dialogue. I wrote shitty.
Yeah.
Acting. Jay is bad. That's the score.
Yeah.
The offensive test. Mildly.
Yeah, like PG-13 offensive.
Yeah.
Or PG offensive even.
Yeah, I think you're right. Most cliche. Incredibly cliche. Yep. There were 28 different cliches that we were able to identify. Graphics. Fucking good.
Yeah.
Good graphics. Do you want to give them any additional deductions? Because this is some real science. So we need to have a control. And that is like, anything you want to add.
It could have been like an hour 25 instead of an hour 40.
Could have been. Okay, I'm gonna write that in. Could have been.
Could have been shorter. Could have been a little shorter.
Shorter. Could have been shorter. All right, that is an additional deduction. Yeah, I was gonna hammer again for Jay Baruchel, but nah, that's okay. The whole acting score is Jay's bad, so that's probably good enough. All right. So I just want to remind you that this is exact science.
Yep.
If you hadn't noticed, we have 7 different tests. That's why it's exact, because like 7's a lot. So, 7 different ways of measuring a movie is pretty definitive. So when we see our next one and we compare the tests from this week to that, next week, we'll get a real sense of, like which one's scientifically worse.
It's a good series of checks and balances, if I must say so myself.
And you must, just because I'm only one person. So having you back me up, like we're the only 2 people on the pod. So that's like 100% of us agree.
Yeah. That's
like, there is no 5th dentist that says some other toothpaste.
Yeah, exactly.
But hey, it's Sorcerer for now. What are we watching next week, Rob?
Not Senseless, because nobody wants to watch Senseless. We will be watching Demolition Man, and every subsequent poll will have Senseless on it until we watch Senseless. So if you guys want to choose between 2 movies that are like equal contenders for being bad movies, just get Senseless out of the way.
Oh,
and then I can start picking other movies that'd be in the running, because it's going to be Senseless between indefinitely until we watch it.
Good angle, Rob. Nice angle.
So we're watching Demolition Man, which I didn't know was like considered a bad movie. I thought I always hear people say like great things about it. I've never seen it. I saw like the opening scene when I was like 6 when I was watching it with my dad, and he's like, "All right, you can't watch this," and because it was like swearing and stuff, that kind of shit. But I've never seen it.
Well, look, dude, it does lean into the side of that, right?
Okay. And
we need to discuss literally every bad movie.
Yeah.
But this one's good for us because a lot of people like it. So, a lot of people are going to listen because they're going to be like, screw these guys. It's good. And then we're going to be like, no, it's bad. Listen, this is why. Science.
The polarizing movies seem to get the best reaction is what I've learned in our journey so far.
For sure. And that's, not why we're doing it at all. For sure. Definitely not. Yeah. So next week, Demolition Man, Sorcerer's Apprentice for now. Where can they find us?
You could email us at worstmovieevermade@gmail.com, or you could search in all your podcast apps for the worst movie ever made. I'm not going to tell you every single app. It's Spotify native, but we're on other platforms. You will see us. If your app doesn't carry it, you can download the podcast to put the feed on your podcast app. So the worst movie ever made on all podcast catchers.
Nice. And our social media is predominantly Instagram, but we're on pretty much everything else. And if we're not there, tell us at that same Gmail, and we'll get there if you want us there. We'll create content there if you want it. We're here for you. This is science to serve the customer that is our listener. I'm excited to get into next week. I'm excited for this new format. I'm excited to see this skyrocket because it's fucking great. And I love it. And I love you listeners. Thank you for listening.
I'm excited for season 18 when we finally watch Senseless. See you guys.